Hello everyone, Dusty here. I'm excited to announce that KitchenTableMeta is collaborating with Popo's Kitchen, a new site specializing in Dragon Ball Super singles. They have everything from Set 1 tournament promos to Union Force and even Dash Pack promos. And if that wasn't enough, you can even trade in your old cards for credit. Do you have a playset of Sensu beans you're not using? Turn them into credit and buy that shiny Jiren. Don't forget to tell them Dusty sent you by using the code KitchenTableMeta at the checkout to save 10% on your entire order. How's it going? And welcome back to episode 6 of Top 5 Tuesday. In this episode, I'm going to go over the top 5 cards that I either overrated or underrated in the Set 2 spoilers. And so I feel like I got a couple cards wrong, and I really wanted to bring them up, talk to you guys about them, so you guys will be up to date. I mean, it's a surprise. Sometimes I get stuff wrong. I know I surprise even myself, but of course I'm joking. But yeah, so like, again, these are just 5 cards that I feel like I kind of got wrong. I really messed up on, and I wanted to kind of bring it to your guys' attention so you guys know, But before we get into that, I wanted to take a quick second and say I'm sorry that my videos, the last like 3 videos have looked kind of bad. I feel like they weren't really up to my quality, and what's happened is I'm kind of set up in like a sunroom type area, and so I was getting a lot of natural lighting because it was like in summer, and now that we're into fall and it's storming like every day here, essentially what's happening is I'm losing all my natural light, and so it doesn't look as well. And so I went ahead and purchased some lights. I have them set up this time, so I think it looks a lot better. There's still a little bit of glare and stuff behind me, but I'll just continue to prove it. But I think it looks infinitely better than it has at the last couple videos. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, and again, I'm always going to try to improve my quality and do what's best for you guys. And I just apologize that my last few videos really haven't been up to my standards, and I apologize. But anyway, let's get into the top 5 and see what's number 5.
Coming at you with number 5.
All right, guys, at number 5, we have Fully Trained Son Gohan, which is the 2-cost, 1 red, 10,000 attacker with the permanent ability that says each Son Gohan Adolescence in your hand gains Evolve, 2 red and 1 on top of another Son Gohan Adolescence. Now, when this card came out and when we looked at it, we didn't know what the super rares were going to be. And so because of that and kind of the lackluster Gohans that we've seen prior to that, I felt like this card wasn't going to be good enough. So I gave it a 1 star. Now, after we've seen the super rares, after, we've kind of had the first kind of weekend of Dragon Ball Super Union Force being played, there's a couple things I noticed about this card that I didn't in my first look over. And that is essentially this card is perfect for the decks that want to have 4 or less cards in their deck. I mean, 4 or less cards in their hand. So what they want to do is they want to get a lot of cards out of their hand very quickly, and then they want to play out cards like Ghost Attack, Gotenks. So when it comes into play, you get this awesome ability because you have less cards in your hand. Now, while Gohan is awesome for this deck is because that deck normally kind of evolves around the Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohan, which is the 6-cost, 2 red, 25,000 attacker with double strike that says if you have only 3 or less cards beside this card in your hand, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand or battle area by 4, and then it says when this card KOs your opponent's battle card, inflict 2 damage to your opponent. Now, that card is insane, and it's also a Son Gohan Adolescence, and so why I think Fully Trained Son Gohan so much better than I originally thought was because it gives you an alternate way to play that card earlier than you should be able to. And so what I mean by that is this is a great card to combo out if you need to in order to get down to 3 cards or less in your hand, but it's also a good card to play on turn 2, and then on turn 3 you can just evolve that 6-drop on top of this card and then still get that early attacker that you want that can burn your opponent out. And so, again, that's why, again, I think this card should have 2 stars instead of 1. I think it's a very underrated card. It's something that I definitely missed in the analysis, and so I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, and let's check out number 4.
Let's take a look at number 4.
All right, guys, at number 4, we have Warrior of the Gods Goku Black. This is a 2-cost, 1 blue, 10,000 attacker with the permanent if Zamasu is in play in your battle area, this card cannot be KO'd by your opponent's card skills and does not leave the battle area due to skills. And this essentially just gives the card indestructible. We talked about this in depth in our card analysis view, but what's changed with this card is 2 things. Number 1 is we didn't know about the super that we were getting, which was the 10-cost Zamasu, which every time he attacks, he essentially, you put one of your opponent's battle cards, one of your opponent's energies, a card out of their hand, and a card in their life at the bottom of their deck. That's an insane card. It costs 10, but it has Union Patora for 7, which makes it very important to have a Goku Black that's out in play that you can fuse with a Zamasu. And this is the Goku Black to do that with. And so that's something that we've completely missed. Now, I do want to bring attention to something else I missed that made this card, I think, a little bit better just in general, is the entire Zamasu deck. I just didn't think it was going to be good enough. I didn't think Zamasu was going to be strong enough. I thought his ability was a little clunky and just wasn't going to be a thing. Now, after this weekend, I actually won my release tournament with Zamasu, and then my teammate John Tata took the same Zamasu deck with a couple tweaks to the Case tournament in Maryland and got 9th with it. And so it's absolutely a deck, and this card is a pivotal card in that deck. And so it's just something I want to bring to your guys' attention. I really feel like I kind of, was really mean to this card. I was like, man, this card's bad. I don't know what they were thinking. I still think it's not quite as good as it could be. I think it probably should be a 15,000 attacker. Maybe it would get plus 5,000 if you had a Zamasu leader or a Goku Black leader, something like that to make it a little bit more of a threat. But it's still a very pivotal part of the deck for it to run properly, because you need that's Union Patora. Now, the card on itself isn't very good. If you play this out on 2 by itself, I mean, it's a pretty terrible play, and it's probably going to die. But with all those things, it can protect itself, it can stay alive, if it has a Zamasu in play. And again, it's just a pivotal part of that deck. And so for all those reasons, I want to make sure I let you guys know that this is definitely a card I messed up on.
Moving on to number 3.
All right, guys, at number 3, we have, a leader card this time, and it's a card that I really didn't think was going to be that good, and it's really surprising this weekend. It's something I definitely want to talk about, and that is Son Gohan from Union Force. Now, this card is it says auto, when this card attacks, if Son Goku is in your drop area, this card gains plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Awaken when your life is at 4 or less. You may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. Now, again, I praised its front side. I thought its front side was very powerful. It has that hit effect, but it's very easy to get. You just have to have a Son Goku in your drop area, which there's tons of good Son Gokus in the game, and so that shouldn't be too difficult. It puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, and I just felt like it was a really cool ability for its front side. Now, once we awaken him, we see that he turns into Father Son Kamehameha, Goku, and Gohan, and has 15,000 power, and says auto, when this card attacks, draw a card. Great. And it says active battle once per turn, remove all of your cards in the drop area from the game. This card gains plus 5,000 power and triple strike. Then at the end of your turn, you lose the game. And I was like, man, this is a cool ability. It's neat that it gets triple strike. It's neat it's kind of this all-in ability. And I just didn't feel like that was going to be good enough. I felt like that the downside of essentially losing the game just was too much to is kind of outweighed the benefits of possibly beating your opponent. And I wish it was a little bit more essentially. I wish there was something like remove 5 Son Gokus from the drop area, and that way you could use it once and then build it back up, maybe use it again. I just felt like it wasn't going to be good enough, and I still don't think it's necessarily OP or super good. But a player did take this deck to the California tournament. I think he went like 6-2 or something, and so I was like, you know what, maybe there's something with this deck. And so I've been testing a little bit on Octagon, and I'll tell you what, guys, it is actually pretty good. Now, there's a couple things to remember about this card, and one thing is that this effect does happen in the battle step, so that's during combos. A lot of people think this is like a main phase ability, and so essentially you would activate it, you attack, and you would just get countered or negated, and you just lose the game. That's not what happens. It literally happens after the counter step, after autos. It happens during the battle, and so you can really kind of get a gauge on what your opponent's going to do before you use it. And again, when this is paired with again, another super we didn't know about, but when this is paired with Piercing Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan, which is a 7 cost, 2 green, 25,000 attacker with evolve 2 green and 4 on a Son Gohan childhood. Double strike, it says, when you play this card in your opponent combos during the duration of that turn, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in the battle area and combo area with energy costs of 3 or less and place them in the drop area. Essentially what this card does is if you play this card out and then attack with this card, with the leader card that we're talking about, use its ability, your opponent can't, combo with any of the 0-cost combo cards, that draws them a card. They can't combo with most of the 0-cost cards in general, and so they're going to have to use mana and try to combo with, higher level cards, which is a lot of the times just isn't possible. And so that card plus this card is a very, very deadly combo, and I think because of all of this, it warrants taking this card from a 1-star, which I gave it originally, up to a 2 2-star, and really this should be a card that you guys, maybe should mess around with a little bit if you're interested in a kind of a game ender leader that can be very powerful, especially if your opponent doesn't see it coming. And so again, guys, for all those reasons, we're going to give this this is our number 3 slots. And again, sorry, I got it wrong, guys. Let's check out number 2.
Number 2 coming at ya.
All right, guys, at number 2, we have our first overrated card, which I try so hard not to do with these spoilers. I always try to, kind of get unhyped before I do the videos so I don't blow them out of the water and make them look better than they are. But this card, I just couldn't help myself, and I definitely made it a lot better than what it definitely is. And that is Chilled Army General. Now, this is the 5-cost, 2 yellow, 25,000 attacker that has permanent. All of your chilled army tokens can combo, even in rest mode. They gain combo cost 0 and 5,000 power. So that's a really cool effect. And then you also get active main, switch one of your chilled army tokens to rest. This card gains triple strike for the duration of the turn. Now, I thought this card was going to be awesome. Again, and I haven't really had a whole lot of chance to set out with my Papa Chill deck and really, grind it out to see if I can find a good combo and a good way to make that deck very good. But why I gave this card 3 stars. And 3-star cards in my mind are cards that you can literally almost put in any deck and they're going to be awesome. They're going to be beneficial. They're really going to help you win the game. They're going to be an influence, and it's going to be something that you want to play almost all the time. And this card just isn't that card. Now, I'm not saying this card isn't good, and in fact, I think it's still a very good card, especially in the chill deck. It's just that I don't think you should put this card in every deck. Obviously, this card should only be in chilled. I think I just was still in that Papa Chilled hype. I was so excited for this card. Still am extremely excited for this card, and I definitely overrated this card. Now, with that being said, this card still is very good. I am going to end up taking it from a 3-star down to a 2-star. Think in the chill deck, it's a no-brainer. You're going to want to play this card. Very, very strong card. The fact it can get triple strike, can literally just close out games. The fact it can, essentially just sack tokens and make them essentially combo in different places is going to be awesome. It also gives you a way to protect your leader. Again, he's a little weak. I think that literally you're going to play this card out, either win the game or lose the game off of this card. Well, I don't say lose the game, but you're either going to play this guy out, either win the game, or he's going to die next turn to a Beerus or a Kale or, Gohan. There's millions of ways to kill him. And you can't protect him with Cold Bloodlust again, because your chill leader doesn't have the ability to use Cold Bloodlust. And so again, for all these reasons, guys, I just really overhyped him. I thought he was going to be awesome. I was just so excited about this archetype. I think that I just let my judgment get to me, and I just apologize, guys. So anyway, this guy, instead of 3 stars, we'll move him down to 2. That's our number 2 pick. And let's move into number 1 most underrated card in the current set.
Finally, number 1.
All right, guys, finally at number 1, we have MAFUBA. Now, this is a card, guys, that I just definitely missed the mark on. This is a 2-cost, 1 blue extra card that says counter battle card attack. It says negate the attack and place this card on the attacking card. And then it says at the end of the opponent's next turn, place this card and only this card in the drop area. As long as this card is stacked on top of another card, that card is not treated as a battle card and its skill cannot be activated. Now, this is a card that I was really just like, it's really neat. I gave it a one star during my review. I said, it's a really neat card. It's pretty cool. I just feel like it costs 2. That's a little steep. And the fact that it doesn't actually kill the card or give you a way to kill the card, it's just going to make it essentially like, I want to stop this card from attacking, I want to stop it from doing its thing, and then after your next turn, you're just going to kill me with it anyway. Now, where I really missed the mark on this card is that there's a lot of decks in this format right now that play out super early scary threats extremely fast. So the Cell deck is a good example of that, where they'll, on turn 2 or turn 3, they play out your 7-drop Cell card, and most callers have a way to deal with that card. They can have multitude of ways. I talked a little bit about it in my video yesterday, to kill that 7-drop Cell. But MAFUBA is fantastic in this situation because you can't kill it, but you can delay it long enough for you to get your Beerus, for you to get your Zamasus, for you to get the ways to actually kill that card. So it's a very great stall card. Also, this card is amazing in Zamasu. It's another card that lets them stall out and really wait until that 7-drop or 8-drop or 8's turn time time period where they can kill you with their 10-drop Zamasu. And so again, I just kind of undervalued this card. I felt like the stall was just kind of delaying the inevitable. It wouldn't matter, but that's absolutely not the case. Again, I think most of the decks that want to run this card are going to have a plan late game, and they really need a card that helps them stall. And the 4 negates for blue was fantastic, and this just gives them, you know, 4 more or a couple more if you only want to run 2 or so. And so again, this card's just super fantastic. It's a great tempo play, and it's really just a card I'm really messed up on. Now I want to move this card from a 1-star to a 2-star. I'm not going to give it 3 stars yet because I still think there's decks that don't want to run it. It's a little difficult to leave 2 blue up most of the time. I'm sorry, not 2 blue, just 2 mana in general up, or 2 energy up. And so for that reason, I'm not going to give it the 3 cost, though I think this card could maybe eventually move up to 3 stars, especially in other sets and stuff. But right now, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to keep it at 2, and I'm going to really apologize again, guys, for really underrating this this card. And again, if you have these cards, you should be trying them out in your decks, because this is a fantastic, probably the best negate card we've seen in set 2, and just a fantastic addition to your setup. Alright guys, that's it for this week's Top 5 Tuesday. Make sure you let me know in the comments section below where you think I got right, what do you think I got wrong, what are some cards you think that are underrated right now in your guys' first weekend of play. Is there some cards that you think that should be on my radar that I messed up? Please let me know. Also guys, if you don't have any of these cards and you want to pick some of these cards up, make sure you check out Popo's Kitchen. If you go to their website, which I'll pop up down here somewhere, and use the code KitchenTableMeta at the checkout, you'll get 10% off your order, and also I get 10% of the money you spend too, so it's a win-win for both of us. And I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me. In addition, if you do use your code to buy something, you'll be entered into my monthly giveaway this month, which will be a mat given to me from Popo's Kitchen, and I'll also be throwing in a set 2 special pack as well, with a Zamasu promo in there, and a 4-pack. So again, I just really want to thank you guys so much for, you know, again, for supporting me. You know, right now we're at over 100 subscribers. I actually had a comment on one of my videos yesterday. It was like, hey man, last time I checked out your channel, which was like a week ago, you had 400 subscribers, now you have over 700. Like, what happened? And it's like, you guys are what happened. You guys just keep supporting me. You keep giving me so much support, and I just really means a lot. And again, guys, thank you so much. Now, tomorrow on Wednesday, I'm going to actually do a quick little video on the a little overview on the secret rare card, tell you guys what I think about it. I forgot I didn't actually do a review about that card because the card wasn't out yet, like on the spoilers, so I definitely want to do that for you guys. And I'm also, for tomorrow's Supercast, we're going to have Jordan Markle and possibly a couple other Kitchen Table Meta team members on the podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about our experience at this weekend, or last weekend's case tournament, some decks we're super excited about. We also got a viewer request to talk a little bit about Indestructible, which I know Jordan would love to talk about. And so again, we just have some really cool stuff coming up tomorrow, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, sorry for rambling. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Let you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next time.